What is up, everybody, man? Thank you guys tuning in to this episode of Expert Mentors Live. And I'm really excited to jump in today with one of my favorite humans on the planet, and definitely have been able to see the ups and downs and all of the things in between over the years, working, been able to work hand in hand with Cindi. And this is third time back on Expert Mentors?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, welcome back.
I'm honored to be here. And you're right. We have worked together a long time, John. And you're right. You've seen a lot of ups and downs through coaching us. And so
what were I know when last time I was in Tyler, we actually pulled the numbers up. I pulled up the quad tracker, the numbers on the application. Do you remember when that was?
8 or 9 years ago, for sure.
Oof.
Had to be. Yeah.
About the time we really got serious about what we're going to dive into today and really neighborhood takeover, as I know it's been one of the core pillars foundationally for you in your business. I know you kind of inherited a project that kind of led into, say, hey, we're here. We might as well take all of it instead of just what we're, almost the problem child that we were dealt with. And so let's start there, Cindi, to kind of where, you looked at it. I mean, you've been in this game for a long time. You've seen it all. You've rode all the ups, all the downs. You've been through a lot within the market. I know there's probably not much that you haven't seen or encountered, and being able to hand it this project that kind of led into this neighborhood takeover that we're going to talk about today.
Exactly. Let me just set the stage real quick for you. I was called by a gentleman to come represent a project for him. The project was not built yet. I've got to tell you that first of all. Didn't know a whole lot about it. He called me because I had handled some new construction for builders in the area. And I get to, they came and saw me at my office. And I remember there's a little Homes and Land magazine sitting on the corner of my desk with a high rise on it. And I know in Tyler, Texas, it's about a population of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And this high rise is sitting on the corner of my desk, and they're talking to me, and they look down and they said, yeah, that's it. And they hired me that day to represent a high rise that had not been built yet.
Gotcha.
So that's where it starts.
I want to just tell everybody, putting a high rise in Tyler, Texas is something that you would never think of, right? So first and foremost, for me, it was what is it that you have? What are you doing?
Exactly. So they started the construction on the high rise. First of all, I had to sell 20 units, pre-sell 20 units for them to even get their financing. So I went out to my friends, my family, my different people, investors I knew, and we pre-sold 20 units.
And what year was this?
Oh my gosh, John, it had to be 2004.
Yeah.
It's when
things
that
were
happened.
booming, right? Especially in the investor side of things. And I remember the investor organization that Kinder and I got a part of, and we went multiple trips, and they were selling high rise in Oklahoma City.
Oh, wow.
And so to me, that was even a head scratcher. It was what, high rise in Oklahoma City? What are you talking about? And so I remember that experience in getting in that investor, and it was crazy. When we were out there, Cindi, was I think we went to San Francisco. It was the investor and all the investors that come in, and you had all the projects there, and they were selling. The hottest ones, were in Florida. They were selling them, but the guy that was representing Oklahoma City, man, he was selling those too. It was wild.
Wow. There is certainly an art to it. I will say that there's certainly an art to it. So when we started this high rise, we did all the pre-sales for it. They got their financing. And of course it took longer to build than we thought. They thought it was going to take about 13 months, and it ended up taking 4 years. And so we opened and got our certificate of occupancy February of 2008. So if you can imagine what the market was like February 2008.
Yeah.
But, I tell people, we were going through such a recession back then. You don't know you've been through a recession until you're on the other side of it a lot of times.
Right.
And so we had our problems with the building, ended up going through 3 different owners. And the bank canceled a lot of my contracts I had up front because they thought we would get more for them. And then 2008 hit, we didn't get more for them. They wish they had not done that. And the next thing you know, the bank got even bought out. So I could write a whole book about that. But it was a cluster. We went into construction defect litigation. I mean, we did a lawsuit on the building to get some repairs done on it. And I hear that that's kind of a common thing in high rises, but we saw that through. But I ended up with my last investor was super. I was looking back to do these numbers for the show. There's some of these units that I have sold 5 and 6 times over and over. This building has 81 units. I knew I didn't want to be kind of a one-shot wonder when it comes to new construction, because you can be the person in charge of a neighborhood, and then when you're done, you're done. I knew I wanted to build relationships with these people as they moved in, but not just in the building, but in the community, because it is a golf course community.
Yeah.
So it's about 362 people or homes in this area. So we began marketing to everybody. And I was sharing with you the numbers on that. I just went back through MLS of what we did, and we did about 60 million in sales over the last 8 years, just in this one neighborhood.
Wow.
So it ended up being about 1.8 million in commissions.
Right.
So it's been a great project, but I kind of wanted to kind of unpack how we did that and what we've done to stay involved in the community. One of the things that I have now, and I've had it for a few years, that people love, is I have a moving truck, and it's parked at the circle of the high rise on the street. And so anybody coming and going sees my big face on the side of this truck. Yeah. And it says you can use it for free. Well, I leave the keys to the truck at the concierge desk, and people call me through the week. Hey, Cindi, I'm going to go borrow your truck. We're not using it for moving a whole lot of people from one side of the town to the other. It's, I got to go pick up this, or I got to go pick up that. I'm going to use your truck. Everybody in the whole building uses my truck.
Yeah.
And they love it. One of the other things we do on Fridays, once a month, once every other month, we have these little yay boxes. They're little charcuterie boxes, and they get it by their door once a month. It's called Yay, It's Friday. Yay, It's the Weekend. That's what the card says. People have just gotten to know us. We do a party once a quarter, a little cocktail party by the elevators. We started doing a golf tournament in the community. We raised $32,000 on our first golf tournament, which is really pretty good for a golf tournament.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So we've got another one scheduled for April the 29th, and that will go to our WAGS charity. We do have a 501c3 nonprofit ourselves now, and that's where the proceeds go to for animal rescue.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing we do is my husband's a golfer. He is on the golf course pretty much every day, and he's outfitted in our logo. And he gives away tieless hats with our logo on them. He gives away golf tees. He's on the golf course with my clients. I don't golf, but he does. And so it just makes a real good combination there.
Yeah.
We do a couple of parties a year, big parties. 200 to 250 people come to a Christmas party that we have. So that's just how we have just been able, we mail out to people. But more than anything, we've embraced this community. We've become friends with them. We go on cruises together. We have dinner together. And so you just become that person in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it really is. It's those of you that have really done well with, like, somebody would be like foolish to come in and against you in these areas. You know, you and Andrew, I think, are two of the models for what it means to taking over, especially a niche type of community, a niche area. You know, Gaydosh has the two. He has, you know, the lake, and then he has the golf. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he doesn't even golf, but, you know, he lives there, lives in the community, and, you know, what the success that he had. And, carried over, and the same for you. And I'm gonna take you back to the beginning and kind of walk through, because we shared all of the things that we have in there. However, that's not what we started with. And I love that we've as you've grown, you've added, right? Hey, let's add this. Hey, this is working. Let's add this. And I think, first and foremost, you're present. You're there. It's in an area. It's in a neighborhood, a community that you're proud of, that you love, that you want to see thrive and excel. You're passionate. You care about property values, the things that will keep them up and keep moving them up. We have a high level of awareness. And I remember making the decision, we were like, hey, what do we do next? And then that's when we started doing direct mail. And really, more and more to stay top of mind. And I think it's important to bring a part of who you are in your culture. And you've always have had a very, is built around, coming together in a way of kind of almost like friendship and trust, right? You've always built it around food. You've built it around community. You've built it around events. And I think, you've always done that. And then you bring that into the community, and that just allows you to really connect with people. And more so now than anything, Cindi, and this is that, and I would love for you to speak on it. You're definitely the expert in this, as we've been running this since 2018, but you were there, a decade prior. So you've got a lot of time invested into the community. But I think the other thing that you've always done, no matter what it is, it's always first class, and it's always kind of done with excellence and a standard. And I think that carries out through, even when I was there and toured through the Cascades and seeing the golf course. You just know, it's excellence. Everything is world-class. Details matter. And I think that's a great lesson for everybody listening in. You have to stay consistent. And even if you can only start with one or two things, that's great, but get it working, add a couple more, add a couple more, add a couple more. But what's the through line, right? If you were to say, what's the through line? I think the quality, the standard, the excellence in the details into everything that you've done is allowed you to dominate, take over all the market share, but being able to do it for a long time.
Right. And one of the things I did mention is that we hired a chef about 12 years ago, and this chef works for us full time. That's our way of, we feed people. People love to come together for food. And so that chef hosts our events for us. And now we have a training center / event center in Tyler for our office, and she works there full time. And so she's doing food. It's kind of like the Ritz-Carlton Club Room marries up with the American Airlines Admiral Club.
Yeah.
I love those two places. And so we came back here and we put that together here at our office. And so it's a great agent attraction feature, but it also, our clients love it. Our affiliates love it. We do have affiliates at our center, and that is kind of what pays for it. They pay for the food and the chef for us.
That's funny you say that. Now you share the two pieces of information, inspiration, and now I'm mentally walking through your office and I'm like, okay, yep, I see both of those.
Yeah, that's exactly. We travel and get that inspiration. And one of my favorite places is to go to the Ritz-Carlton on the weekend and stay on the 8th floor with the club level. And that's where we got our inspiration for what we're doing here.
Yeah. It is. And that's a great lesson, right? Wherever you draw the inspiration, what like excites you? What do you love, right? The places that you frequent, the places you go, how come? And how can is it impacting you and impacting others like you? How do you, model that and carry it over into what you're doing, drawing the inspiration? And that's where the exponential growth comes from, right? And it's not modeling what everybody's doing in the industry. That's incremental gains. Exponential happens when you borrow from outside of the industry and bring it into what you're doing. That's where you see the exponential jumps, and you've done it textbook, right? So well. So Cindi, kind of inheriting the project. I mean, obviously you're not only that, but you're also an owner in there. Talking to agents and even, agents that you coach on your team and mentoring and leading, they're talking about a neighborhood. Let's give them the step-by-step play here of, hey, kind of, if you think that this is something that you want to have as part of your business, this is where you need to start. This is what you need to be thinking about.
Yes. You want to be top of mind when people think about you in the neighborhood. And I think it does very well because we live there. This high rise, we were one of the first people that bought there. So we were able to customize our unit, and we were able to have big parties in it. And I built it for parties and entertainment. And so that has really helped us a lot. But you have to be dug into your neighborhood and know your neighborhood and be vested in it. It was easy to sell a high-rise condo when you live there versus somebody that didn't live there, because they don't know how that living really is, because it's definitely a lifestyle. When you live in a community like the Cascades is the name of our community, it is definitely a lifestyle. It has the marina and a restaurant on the water. It has the tennis, and it's got a workout facility. And so you have to kind of bring people, not just sell them a condo or a house, but you sell them the community. So first of all, I would educate myself really well on what community you were going to dig into. And hopefully you already live in that community. Mm-hmm. And then you started a mail campaign. That's what we did. We started with a mail campaign. I had a little bit leg up on this because I was already doing the high rise, and we started hosting events. Happy hours. That's why we hired the chef. Mm. When you can get face to face with people in some type of common area, they get to know you. They begin to like you. They want to talk to you. They call you for real estate questions. And I think that was the biggest breakthrough, was the food for us. When we started entertaining people and it doesn't cost a lot to do this, really. It's less money than catering events. We don't serve big full meals. It's always just kind of, today we're serving salads and sandwiches and things like that at an event here at our office. But it doesn't take a whole lot of money to do this, especially if you can get it sponsored or offset. Our lenders, our title companies were helping us back in the day do this. Yeah. And so that's what put us out there. There's nobody else probably in your community that does this. I know there's not anybody else in our community that does it. I've had a few people come look and see what we did and tried to duplicate it, but they weren't able to.
How come?
I think too, we were having a lunch in our office every week, and I had an agent come out and wanted to duplicate the lunch. So she goes back to her office. They pitch a tent in the front parking lot. They put potato salad and barbecue out and invited their friends and their clients. It didn't work. Like you said, you got to strive for excellence, and you have to be set up for this. Yeah. And so I think we just did a very good job of it. We made it very high end. One of the things about our food is we are masters at display and presentation. Our girls study that. And our chef studies that. The presentation is everything for us. So that would be what I would do is start with events, start with a mail campaign. John, to be honest with you, I'm not a big cold caller. I don't call people. Nope. I have never chased people. I don't chase. We attract. I'm not a door knocker. Never knocked on a door in our community.
I've been coaching you for almost a decade. We've never talked about you chasing cold traffic. It's always attractive. Exactly. Everything that you do is, okay, is this going to attract business to us?
Exactly. Over the time, I've been able to get emails list of our area, and we do send some emails just letting them know what's going on in the community. We have a magazine that we let people know what's happening, what is sold, what's available in the community. You just become that expert. Yeah. In the area. You just give the people the knowledge. You give them the data about the area, and they appreciate it.
I think too, when you're bringing people together, and I think this is a key thing, right? If you say you care about your people, you say you care about your clients, you say you care about your community, it's not what you say, it's what you do. And really that's the culture, right? Your culture is just that your behavior, how you behave.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for you in knowing this and presentation, and it's, you're always focused on, I mean, you focus on very intentional getting people results, but you've also, you know, then gone to the experience side of things. And, you know, guys, to the level of detail of Cindy's contrast of what somebody did versus, and I get it, you got to start. However, you can start with, you don't have to break the bank, do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do something really nice on a tight budget.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the thing that I think right now, you know, the days of being able to go get lenders and title and all of the other affiliates associated that get a bite of the apple immediately when a home is transacting. And then those ripple effects that benefit from a home ownership and our home transfer. And so, you know, we've identified, Cindy, you know, I mean, there's almost 100 different business opportunities that could potentially get the bite of an apple when a house transacts, has a transaction. The days of, hey, I'm going to have, you know, this person paying this much, it's changed. However, if you're feeding somebody, and you know my belief, like I will fight somebody over this, is that we have blood, sweat, tears to acquire a client, to acquire an opportunity. And then as a real estate, we just give it to this person. They didn't do anything to acquire it. That's bad business. That's not a good business relationship. And so I can step back and I can be a little empathetic. And there's Leanne has this incredible lender, and Kevin, and Kevin won't like pay agents, but what he does above and beyond is I've never seen a lender other than, if you remember Mr. Brent Hicks. You remember Brent? He was our lender when we had the brokerage in Dallas. Our office was in his office. He spoke at Mastermind a couple of times. He focused on the same thing. Him and Kevin are about the only ones that I've seen that think and operate and take care of agents the way they do. My point is that they've got to be lead getters and they've got to be able to support your business. And so like they might not write you a check, but guys, listen, like Cindy has an affiliate that takes care of the valet service for when you go to her office for any type of event. There's valet service.
Yeah.
That's sponsored by an affiliate. So that's what I want you guys to take away from this, is that you can start small, you can leverage, but you can create this experience for the people you're bringing in to create those relationships and those connections that they'll never forget. Think about that. When's the last real estate agent event, that realtor event or lender event or title event that you went to or even went to for lunch that had valet service for you at that event? And that's the level of detail that you guys, that's the game, that's the level you want to play on if you really want to dominate an area worth dominating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, John, starting off, I remember we would take an event like a lunch, and we were doing lunch every week for our clients. Every one of those lunches were sponsored out. And then you're right, every week the valet was sponsored out. Then we took it to an affiliate membership. And now we have people wanting to be a member because we bring value. I mean, we use these people. I mean, that for what they're paying is a fraction of really what they get back from us.
Yeah.
They love being an affiliate member with us.
No, of course. I mean, because you're recognizing them, you're supporting them. They understand you guys have a healthy relationship, and for them to want to continue to have a healthy relationship, they've got to invest in some capacity. And so it's so important to be able to see that. The thing there to Cindy, you know, identifying the neighborhood. Yes, I get it. It really does help if you live there. If you don't live there, you've got to be involved in some capacity. I look at, you know, what we were able to do. Our numbers of domination went down versus living in the area versus living out. The marketing, the stuff didn't change other than we don't live there anymore. And but we did see a drop. So I would say to somebody, if they're thinking about an area and they're not able to live in there, you still have to have a way to be present in there. And that's doing some type of events. You know, I love the Kona ice truck as an example for school. I'm thinking to the people that I know that are dominating really well in a geographical area, you, Gaydosh, Alex Piak here in Dallas, right? His community, he dominates his community because he's so out there, and he's using his kids, right? Like, I mean, he's a smart marketer. He knows what people gravitate to. He's using his kids. He had his son doing a home tour for him the other day, right? So it's using those things, but he's plugged into the community. The community sees him, sees his family, and it makes a big difference of getting forward facing inside of that community.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, one of the things that we do also in our community is we sponsor the coffee bar. Every morning somebody comes down and has coffee. There's muffins, there's all the coffees and different kinds of coffees. So and we have the regulars that come through there. Now, I'm not down there talking to them, but we have our sign out that we've sponsored, and it changes all the time what's there. So that's just a constant reminder of that we're there in the community.
It's so good because you look at, kind of a customer journey. If you're doing things to stay top of mind, staying relevant, the moving truck, which if anybody listening in, if you don't have a moving van, get a moving van. It's one of the best marketing investments that you could ever make because it's a moving billboard. And you're right. It's not used for a bunch of families. It gets used for people for running odds and ends, running here, running there. It is, I would say if you were to say, John, what was the best marketing thing you ever did? I would say the moving van.
Absolutely.
It really was.
It really was. I mean, and we get to use it. I'll tell you, we picked up 700 pounds of dog food yesterday in it. I mean, it's amazing how convenient a moving van is. One of our next things I want to do is, one of those little food trailers, the cute ones. It's got the curve. I want a white one I've been looking for, and I'm going to serve champagne and strawberries out of it.
I love it. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
guys, the thing too, we can start having all of these great, luxury thinking conversations, right? Things are well, right? What are all the crazy other things we can do? But we got to get down to the foundation. And I think that, the thing to take away from here too is consistency over time. So what would you say, because marketing is just frequency and reach for you to where you really started to see some traction, kind of what was the frequency of communication and the things that you were doing in the beginning that allowed you to keep adding and doing more?
I think we hit it hard in the beginning. We were doing every Thursday because of the high rise. We were serving some kind of food every Thursday because we were trying to sell a high rise at the same time. And when you brought people together and you had them meet each other, because the high rise is about community, that vertical living, it's about community, and they want to know who their neighbor is. And so then they would go tell another person. And that's how we sold the high rise out, was through food, community, consistent every Thursday. We opened that up to the public. You have to be consistent. And then we were able to drop off to once a quarter eventually. And it took years before we were able to do that. It's constant mail outs, constantly showing up with your signs in the neighborhood, and then telling them when you sold that property and how much it's sold for. It's just constantly representing the neighborhood, representing it very well, getting good prices for properties in the neighborhood. You become that community person in the neighborhood that even other realtors call you about deed restrictions and can you have a metal roof in that neighborhood? And I have a direct line to the architectural control. You just become the person that knows everything, and they call you for everything at that point.
Yeah. That's how I can kind of gauge, somebody's level of connections and knowledge is, who they can easily pick up the phone and call, that they take your call, right? That's the thing, right? We can call anybody, but who takes your call? And you get into the engineers, you get into the city planners, you get into the economic development committee, you get into the people that are making the decisions within the actual, government infrastructure of the community. Like when you got those people, you can call. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're adding value. You're doing something to be able to have those connections and developing those relationships. Cindi, when we started and really trying to go, like, what was kind of like the time frame to where you started to see, okay, hey, there's a great return here. Maybe I'm not measuring it, maybe I am, but I can feel the momentum and like this thing is really working for us.
Right. Well, when you look up and you see the listings that you have in the neighborhood, one of the things I didn't talk about is really got into a lot of video, and we got into a lot of video about East Texas. We have a Facebook page and we have a YouTube page called Everything East Texas. We were finding that we were relocating people from California and different parts of the country that did not really know what Tyler, Texas was all about.
Mm-hmm.
So we started interviewing restaurants and doing restaurant reviews and the fun things to do around Tyler. We actually interviewed the schools and boutiques, and we have a pretty substantial YouTube content page for East Texas from doing that. It took me about 2 years to put all the content together for it, but it's proven to be very, very beneficial. I got to tell you a story. Because we put this content together, a lot of times you shoot a lot of content and you wonder, is it working? Is it not working? Is it really working or not? And I had a guy driving down Highway 155 one day. Somebody had introduced me to him. He was a developer out of Austin. A nice guy, but for some reason he went with somebody else when he listed a little piece of land he had here. And he was driving down Highway 155 and he drove by this place called the Smoke Monkey Barbecue Place. So he Googles Smoke Monkey on his phone as he's driving, and he sees my video show up where I'm interviewing the owner. Then he sees the playlist of all of our videos and he goes, I messed up. This is the girl that knows the area. He called, fired his agent, hired me. He ends up moving to my neighborhood. I have his house listed for 1.8 million right now in our neighborhood. I have a development listed for him, 2 developments listed for him right now. But it was all because of those videos and content that we created over a 2-year period.
Yeah.
That just is pay and pay and pay.
It is. It's so key to be able to have that. And I think, once you have, that business and especially you get into the attractive side of things, I think, for sure having a geographical community is a key pillar. If you're wanting any type of longevity in really looking at this as a run for, 10 plus year run, you got to have a community. You got to have a YouTube presence. You got to have a great YouTube video content presence. It doesn't matter if there's 15 other people that have the same stuff. It doesn't matter, right? You've got to do it because it's your personality and people move to people that they like. And I think being able to do that, the go-to resource, all the videos there, everything that you would need to know, thinking about, especially coming in, why Tyler? Right? Like, anywhere in the East Dallas Metroplex area. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like it's all coming together for you there. But, being able to have that content is key, even while you're building. I think even while maybe you haven't got quite the traction that you wanted, you got to get those things out there because those are assets. Those are assets for your business. They're working when you're not working, and being able to have that presence is key. For you kind of moving in the beginning, Cindi, was it, hey, let's just do it and we'll figure out how to offset it? Or were you very more, hey, this is our budget. What can we do with it?
John, you and I had that conversation. I was so heavily involved in the high rise, and I said, this good thing's going to come to an end pretty soon, I'm sure. And you and I had the conversation about branching out into the neighborhood because I was so focused on just that high rise.
Yeah.
And so we started branching out in the neighborhood. And like I said, we did it by direct mail first. People already kind of knew who we were because we had this big 14-story building on the 17th hole of the Cascades. But it was so easy to bring those people in at that point. But a direct mail is what initially gave us the credibility with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember asking you, what can we spend? What's our budget, right? What can we do? And then, it's like, hey, we could do X 100 a month. We're like, okay, with 342 houses, that gives us $1 per house. So can we do something weekly, bi-weekly, monthly until we get some traction to increase that budget? I think that's the way to go about it. You said a couple key things that I want people to take away. How many rooftops? And then how many of those homes turn over per year? That gives you the potential opportunity within the marketplace. The one thing that I would tell everybody else listening into this is that if you've got a Cindi that's in a neighborhood, if you've got a Gaydosh that's in a neighborhood, go find another neighborhood. Because what's going to happen is the queen is going to burn you out. And that's like, you know exactly what I would tell you if somebody tried to come in on your territory. I don't know, double down in the next 90 days.
Yeah.
Like, burn them
I've
out.
got somebody doing that right now. So
we're going to burn them out.
My clients called to tell me about it. They shot me pictures of what they were doing and sent them to me. And he said, we're going to have her swimming with the fishes if she don't move on. So
for sure.
Laughing about it. But yeah, you're right. It caused me to double down. And that's what I've done. I'm doubling down right now.
Yeah. And you know, that's just the lesson, even there, to try to work your way in. Guys, like, go find another area. It really is. It's not worth trying to take on that battle. We tried. You just, you know, it's not worth it. And so a couple things: rooftop turnover. What's the opportunity? Is there a big player? What percentage of market share can I go get? And then you just got to run the math, right? You know, average sales price, average commission. If we collect X percent, and you know, 5, 10 plus percent, if you're able to take that percentage of market share, just run the math, right? What is it worth? I mean, you know the numbers. I mean, 1.8 over the last 8 years in total revenue. And we can probably go back and look at how much we spent. We can see how profitable it was. And that, guys listening, you know, that's just directly related to those rooftops in that community. That's not the ripple effect of the referrals and everything else that ripples out from having that presence. And I think the other cool thing too, when you dominate and you do these events, it just gives you an opportunity to create more content, that you're able to create the videos for YouTube, and obviously the content required to hit social, and really allow that omnipresence, that force multiplier effect that we're everywhere.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that we do, we have our own Facebook pages. I have one for the Stretford and I have one for the community, which is called Cascades Life. And we are constantly posting on those as well. Yeah.
Stretford, so you guys know, is the tower, 14-story tower there in Tyler, Texas. And I was like, what is this? And it is awesome. It really is fantastic views. It is a lifestyle, to be able to have that there. And then obviously carries over into the Cascades, which is awesome.
Yes. You got to come back and play some golf.
I can't wait. I do want to throw this out there for everybody listening in. You know, if you're in the DFW area or coming to visit into the DFW area, Tyler is about a little over an hour east out of DFW. And you know, if you're kind of a rock star agent, you know, another honey badger listening in, make sure part of your itinerary, connect with Cindi. She does. I mean, you guys do something almost every day. It is worth the drive over. It is worth sitting in on one of your trainings, but it is worth walking through the office. I remember going through the office. I did the video and walked through. And what's funny is I started with the margarita machine, and then I walked from the margarita machine all the way through and came back. And honestly, you know, with you just shared, like I did not know that, but Ritz Admirals Club is exactly that. We incorporated food, we have stage, I mean, every detail was put in. So my point is that it's the best office that I've ever been in, and it was meticulously detailed and designed with intent to bring people together, which is you and your culture and really community. And it was designed, open, lights, natural lighting, to come in and bring people together to where they want to come together in a place where people want to be. It was well done.
Thank you. You know, it's definitely not your traditional real estate office for sure.
By no means.
They're pretty wild when they come in the door.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Cindi, you're amazing. You know, guys listening in, seriously, I mean, there's nobody that I know that has, you know, Gaydosh has done really well with it, but being able to run like what Cindi's been able to do, to intentional with the meals. You're bringing in the real decision makers of the community, and you're allowing them to rub elbows with your clients and your other agents. But it's also capitalizing on those relationships, because those relationships open up other opportunities. So if you guys have projects, like we had the ranch project, like if you're like guys listening in, like Cindi, we've done it all. And if you're looking for a way to
forgot about that one, you're right.
Collapse time, is that these projects, these communities, Cindy's a resource. And here's the trade-off. If you're going to come in, you want to pick Cindy's brain, come and add value. She'll put you on stage. She'll let you add value back to the community. So connect with Cindi. She's incredible, and it's been an honor to be able to work with her and see the progression. And I just feel like we're just now hitting stride.
Absolutely. We're so excited. We're so excited to be with EXP. I'm telling you, we were with a franchise for 25 years, and we moved our team over to EXP, and we've grown significantly since.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're awesome. Cindi, thank you so much for jumping in, adding a ton of value, and give Cindi some love, connect with her, get out to Tyler, and we'll see you guys next time. See you.
Thanks.